say that she got receipts and proof that they actually was trafficking a woman, and also passed one off to their son King at one point. Said that she don't want to wake it up, and said that Tiny had to sleep with a whole bunch of women basically inside of Atlanta just to get T.I. to marry her. It's about to get messy. We know Tiny, T.I. and Tiny, you know, T.I. wife. Tiny wrote a post saying that basically they tried to charge Diddy for being freaky, as if she was in support of Diddy. Well, the accuser from before that said that T.I. and Tiny tried to like get her under the influence so they could do whatever they...
Question to you is, I found just a non-felony amount of weed in that ashtray in the back, as well as in that basketball sleeve. So I'm gonna go over here and talk to these guys, and someone has to get charged for it.
It's about to get messy again. The names T.I. and Tiny Harris are back in the headlines, and this time the accusations are darker, deeper, and far more personal than ever before. What started as a few cryptic posts on Instagram has turned into a full-blown firestorm, with claims of trafficking, coercion, and even allegations involving their son, King Harris. It's a scandal spreading across social media faster than wildfire, and everyone has something to say. Screenshots are being teased, receipts are being hinted at, and the court of public opinion is already in session. But before we jump to conclusions, let's unpack exactly how we got here, because this story didn't just appear overnight. It's been simmering for years, and now it's boiling over. It all began when a woman came forward claiming she had proof, not just rumors, not gossip, but actual receipts that T.I. and Tiny were involved in trafficking. Even more shockingly, she alleged that one of the women involved had been passed along to their 19-year-old son, King Harris.
That he went on to make songs about it and so forth and so on. That same silver gun that was on the table when he was arrested, that one silver revolver with the long nose on it was the gun that he put to my head, screaming, "Bitch, I'll kill you, bitch, I'll kill you." We're gonna go truth for truth. Truth is, Clifford Harris put a gun in my head. Truth is, I didn't have a weapon. Truth is, I didn't call the police on him. Truth is, I didn't sue him and I could have. Truth is, I never spoke about this on the many times I could have spoke about it. That's the truth.
She went on to claim that Tiny, T.I.'s wife, had to engage in a series of humiliating acts and sleep with multiple women just to convince T.I. to marry her in the first place. The accusations were explosive, raw, and deeply personal, exactly the kind of scandal that social media loves to dissect.
Sabrina Peterson, who's been calling out T.I. and Tiny for years, just dropped a bombshell post. It all started when Tiny posted a shady message after Diddy's verdict saying, "They'll try to punish you for being freaky." Well, Sabrina was not having it. She fired back, saying Tiny should have stayed quiet, and claimed she's got receipts from a woman who says she was mistreated by Tiny, and even connected to their son, King Harris. And she made shocking claims Tiny did favors to secure her marriage to T.I.
Tiny Harris, for those who don't know, is more than just T.I.'s wife. She's a Grammy Award-winning singer, a reality TV personality, and someone who has built a strong brand centered on loyalty, family, and resilience. But that image started to crack when she made a comment online that many found distasteful. After Diddy's explosive legal verdict made headlines, Tiny jumped into the conversation with a post that read, "People want to charge you so bad for being freaky. It's nasty work." The post seemed lighthearted at first, but in the world of celebrity drama, context is everything.
Bring the shit done with. I don't want a dime from you or XYZ, but if I gotta keep drawing this I gotta keep stepping away from my mother brand. I gotta keep stepping away from my weed and my weed jars. I gotta keep stepping away from my mother packaging. I gotta stepping away from my fundraising I'm supposed to be doing, my $12 million fundraise. If I gotta keep stepping away from my goddamn desk to answer these motherfucking calls, then bitch, you gon' then that's it is what it is. 7 days. Apologize and tell the truth.
Enter Sabrina Peterson, the same woman who, years ago, accused T.I. and Tiny of violence and misconduct. Sabrina reposted Tiny's words with a chilling caption that sent shockwaves through social media. "Lying on me was the beginning of your end." And just like that, the floodgates opened. Sabrina Peterson has a long and complicated history with the Harris family. Back in 2021, she made headlines after claiming that T.I. had pulled a gun on her during an argument. That single accusation sparked a wave of similar stories from others who alleged that T.I. and Tiny had a pattern of drugging, coercion, and assault. Dozens of individuals came forward with eerily similar accounts. The Harris family denied everything, but the fallout was immediate. TV deals collapsed, sponsorships disappeared, and their image took a massive hit.
She ain't talked about nothing about how she making tip. I said what I said. Why she ain't talking about how she done sucked? So why we ain't talking about that? Let's get into it. Yeah, y'all want to talk about that? Get into it. I'm trying to figure out why she ain't told y'all how much she done. Why she ain't told y'all about she wanted the women who used to go recruit them. What's up?
For months, they lived under a cloud of suspicion, forced to defend themselves against a growing chorus of voices demanding accountability. But after lengthy investigations, Los Angeles prosecutors ultimately declined to press charges, citing a lack of evidence and expired statutes of limitation. For many, that was the end of it. The couple seemed to bounce back, slowly rebuilding their empire. Tiny focused on her family and her business ventures, while T.I. returned to music and motivational speaking. But Sabrina Peterson never truly disappeared. She remained active online, occasionally dropping cryptic messages about truth and karma. And when Tiny posted that comment about Diddy, defending what many saw as predatory behavior, Sabrina saw her opening. She claimed she had been sitting on what she called the vault, a collection of receipts, photos, messages, and documents that allegedly prove everything she's been saying for years. She promised to release it all on July 19th, her birthday, and said that this time she wasn't just speaking out for herself, but for every woman she claims was victimized by the Harris family. In her latest posts, Sabrina says she's already handed evidence to federal investigators, but she also wants the public to see it. She called Tiny's post mocking survivors and accused her of using the term freaky as a cover-up for exploitation. She hinted that the so-called lifestyle that the T.I. and Tiny were defending wasn't about consensual adult fun. It was about control, humiliation, and manipulation. Sabrina also dropped a bombshell claim that Tiny had allegedly endured degrading experiences just to earn her place as T.I.'s wife. She claimed that Tiny's royalty wasn't built on love, but on submission, that the marriage was less about partnership and more about power. She even teased alleged text messages between King Harris and a young woman described as being trafficked, saying that the girl's family reached out to her legal team for help. As you can imagine, social media went into overdrive. Hashtags like #HarrisReceipts and #SabrinaSpeaks began trending within hours. Some people were convinced this was Sabrina's moment of vindication, while others accused her of trying to revive old, discredited claims to get attention. Regardless of which side you were on, one thing was certain: people were watching.
Here's where the legal landscape gets interesting. In early 2025, Sabrina's defamation lawsuit against T.I. and Tiny was officially dismissed. The court even ordered her to pay nearly $97,000 in legal fees after criticizing her legal team's mishandling of the case. The judge's statement suggested that Sabrina's side failed to provide necessary evidence and missed critical deadlines, a serious blow to her credibility. But just when people thought that was the end, T.I. filed a countersuit, accusing Sabrina of defamation and claiming that she'd been running a coordinated campaign to destroy his reputation. Sabrina then countersued again, alleging that T.I. had publicly attacked her character and tried to damage her cannabis company, Pretty High Co. So now, what started as personal accusations has turned into a years-long legal chess match. Neither side is backing down, and both are determined to expose the other as the liar. But in the court of public opinion, the truth is often less important than the narrative. And this is where things take an even more unexpected turn, because now their son, King Harris, is in the crossfire. King, who's been making a name for himself as an artist and social media personality, found himself in headlines after a 2024 arrest in Georgia. While the body cam footage showed him calm and compliant, the internet immediately tied the arrest to Sabrina's latest claims. She alleges that King had inappropriate contact with one of the young women tied to the trafficking accusations. No evidence has been presented to prove that claim. But that didn't stop the online speculation. People began dissecting every social media post, every photo, every lyric, looking for clues. In an era where viral gossip spreads faster than verified truth, the Harris family's silence only fueled the fire. Tiny, always the protective mother, started posting cryptic messages on Instagram. Things like, "You can't build peace on lies," and "When you protect snakes, expect venom." Fans immediately started guessing who those quotes were aimed at. Some thought she was addressing Sabrina directly. Others wondered if there was tension within the family itself. What's clear, though, is that Tiny isn't rushing to defend T.I. this time. Her tone is quieter, more reflective, as if she's watching everything unfold from a distance rather than trying to control the narrative. Tiny's silence speaks volumes. In 2021, she was fiery and defensive, standing by her husband at every turn. She called out Sabrina publicly, denied every claim, and projected strength through unity. But now, she's choosing peace over confrontation. Or maybe strategy over emotion. To many fans, this feels like a shift in power. For years, Tiny's public identity was tied to T.I.'s. They were the power couple, the ride-or-die duo, the example of loyalty in the face of scandal. But now, with her son being dragged into this, and her own name back in the mud, Tiny seems to be choosing self-preservation. Some believe she's preparing for a bigger reveal, distancing herself before more information drops. Others think she's just tired of fighting the same battle over and over again. Whatever the reason, her restraint is fueling even more speculation. Meanwhile, the internet has turned this saga into its favorite form of entertainment. TikTok creators are making theory videos, gossip pages are comparing this to the Diddy and Epstein scandals, and everyone's asking the same question: how much of this is real and how much is just smoke? Let's step back and look at the facts. As of now, there is no confirmed federal investigation into T.I. or Tiny related to trafficking. No law enforcement agency has released any official documentation linking them to these new claims. The receipts Sabrina keeps referencing have not been verified by any reputable source. They're simply social media posts, screenshots, and self-published statements. In 2021, prosecutors in both Los Angeles and Las Vegas declined to file charges due to insufficient evidence and expired statutes of limitation. Legally speaking, the case was closed. Sabrina's defamation lawsuit failed. The Harris family has not been convicted or even charged with any trafficking-related crimes. But in today's culture, facts are often second to perception. Online, the narrative can shift overnight. A single Instagram story can undo years of public image. For Tiny, who's built her reputation on loyalty, motherhood, and resilience, this scandal is chipping away at everything she's tried to rebuild. And now all eyes are on one date. July 19th is when Sabrina Peterson says she'll release her so-called vault of evidence. She claims the files contain explicit content that can't even be posted on Instagram, and that what she has will change everything. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen, but the anticipation alone has kept her name trending. For the Harris family, that countdown is a ticking clock. If Sabrina delivers something real, verifiable proof, it could destroy their legacy overnight. But if her receipts turn out to be more smoke than fire, it could completely destroy her own credibility. However, it all began with one woman stepping forward, claiming that she had real receipts, actual proof that T.I. and Tiny were involved in trafficking. The allegations were already heavy enough, but she didn't stop there. She claimed that one of the women involved was passed off to their 19-year-old son, King Harris. She even alleged that Tiny had to sleep with several women just to convince T.I. to marry her. Those are serious claims, ones that could destroy reputations and careers if ever proven true. And as expected, social media wasted no time turning it into a circus. Within hours, every gossip blog, every YouTube channel, and every X, formerly Twitter, thread was filled with screenshots, speculation, and people trying to piece together the puzzle. But the real spark that lit this fire came from Tiny herself. After the Diddy verdict made headlines, she made what seemed like a harmless comment on Instagram. She wrote, "People want to charge you so bad for being freaky. It's nasty work." Some people saw it as a vague defense of Diddy. Others thought she was just talking about society's double standards when it comes to sexual freedom. But for one woman, Sabrina Peterson, it was personal. If you followed this story for years, you know Sabrina's name has come up time and time again in connection to the Harris family. And she's not one to stay silent when she feels wronged. Sabrina reposted Tiny's comment with a chilling message. "Lying on me was the beginning of your end." That single line sent shockwaves across the internet, and within hours, the entire situation exploded. Suddenly, Sabrina began posting cryptic warnings and claiming she was ready to reveal everything she's been holding back for years. She said she had receipts, messages, photos, even legal documents proving that T.I. and Tiny were involved in misconduct far worse than anyone could imagine. According to her, some of this evidence was so explicit that she couldn't even post it on Instagram. She hinted that she'd already turned over material to federal investigators, but she wasn't stopping there. Sabrina announced that on July 19th, her birthday, she'd be releasing what she called her truth drop, a full public release of everything she claims to have. That announcement alone was enough to get everyone talking. Hashtags like #HarrisReceipts and Sabrina Speaks started trending, and people began counting down the days to see what she would expose. For Sabrina, this wasn't just about drama. It was about revenge, redemption, and reclaiming a story she says was stolen from her. But to understand how deep this feud goes, you have to go back to where it all started. The history between Sabrina Peterson and the Harris family isn't new. In fact, it stretches all the way back to 2021, when Sabrina first came forward with allegations that T.I. had pulled a gun on her during an argument. That one accusation set off an avalanche of stories. Dozens of other individuals, mostly women, began sharing their own experiences, accusing the couple of drugging, coercion, and even assault. What followed was a media firestorm unlike anything the Harrises had faced before. Networks pulled their reality shows off the air, brand partnerships dissolved overnight, and the couple's once solid image as Atlanta's royalty began to crack under the weight of scandal. T.I. and Tiny denied everything, insisting that the accusations were false and that Sabrina was simply trying to destroy their family's name. They said the stories were inconsistent, exaggerated, and fueled by clout chasing. For months, they battled the court of public opinion, trying to reclaim their reputations. Eventually, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office reviewed the case but decided not to prosecute, citing insufficient evidence and expired statutes of limitation. That decision allowed T.I. and Tiny to begin repairing their image. They returned to their projects, showed a united front at events, and tried to move forward. But the shadow of those allegations never really disappeared. Now, here we are in 2025, and the feud has resurfaced with new energy. Earlier this year, Sabrina's defamation lawsuit against T.I. and Tiny was dismissed. The court even ordered her to pay nearly $97,000 in legal fees after her lawyers missed deadlines and failed to meet procedural requirements. It was a massive loss for her, legally, but it didn't silence her. Instead, she came back louder. She took to social media to declare that justice might have failed her, but the truth was still on her side. She began reposting old evidence, cryptic text messages, and teasers for her upcoming truth drop. Meanwhile, T.I. wasn't staying quiet either. He filed a countersuit, accusing Sabrina of defamation and claiming that she's been on a years-long campaign to destroy his career and reputation. Sabrina responded with her own counterclaims, accusing T.I. of harming her brand.